Previously, on the Art of Boat Building, I, with some help from my friends, strip planked the Little Auk 11 up to and past the chine. Today, we'll finish up the bottom of the kayak. Getting past the chine is a difficult and critical part of the boat's planking, mainly because the planks need to bend both in thickness and in width at the same time. Joe is here again with me, helping to get the bottom on the Little Auk 11, which is what we're going to do today. So right now we're fitting, edge setting this plank here. We're squeezing it in and then putting it in with this 3M tape, which is designed for rough surfaces. So our next strips, we will need to, you can see where the plane is here, and this plane is here, so we need to take a piece and we need to twist it almost 90 degrees. So we'll select a piece that we think is going to bend easily, which we found that the finer the grain is, the easier they bend. So that's what we're going to fit next. .45, did we cut it here or over there? It's okay.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm. So we want to start bending about right here, and about there's the end of it. So we're going to leave it long here so that we can torque on it. So what I first do is I clamp it down to the bench here. This. And get it wet up until my spot is. I'm going to get it on the bottom of my hand, and then I can get both sides at the same time. So Joe is going to torque it while I'm heating it up. The water, of course, is turning to steam and helping soften it, but also it's a good measure. It's like, okay, the water is evaporated, so that's probably hot enough. After demonstrating this method in my last video, I've had several suggestions from viewers of other methods. I think this is the most efficient and accurate method of twisting strips. It doesn't require additional equipment or steps. It's easier to see your progress and have a dry strip ready to glue. Dragging the glue bottle away from the tip works best. By pushing it in towards the tip tends to clog up the glue bottle. It's already hard. This was the last strip that needed to be bent, and with it, we got past the chime. Now that we're past the chime, we need to discuss how we want the layout of the bottom planks to be. So to determine that pattern, we're going to take a look here in Nick Schade's book, Strip Bank Sea Kayak. Now this book comes with the kit, and back here on page 91, you can see there are some examples of bottom stripping. Now I'm going to reference his other book. So his other book is Building Strip Plank Books. Now this is a newer book than the Sea Kayak one, and he has an illustration in here of 4 different ways to strip the bottom of a kayak. So basically the first 2 here are very good for, as it says here, flat bottom boats. And this is the herringbone, where you can see each plank sort of dies into each other like a herringbone pattern. And a parallel football, it does a little bit of the herringbone up to a certain point and then straight strips. So as it said, this is good for flat bottoms. Now if it has a little bit of V-bottom, which ours is in between a V-bottom and a flat bottom, but it's more of a V-bottom than flat. So for V-bottom boats, there are the straight line way of planking, or a side herringbone, where you would do the strips from basically from stem to stern. Now, because I've already put a accent strip of a piece of Alaskan yellow cedar down the middle, then this is the one that I'm choosing, because they will all finish up into that center line. So this is the straight line shape of the planks is what I'm going to use. So the first thing we're going to work on, now that we're up to the center line, is we've got a small short piece here I'm going to fit in. Get that one. So what I'm going to want to do is, it's starting to meet the center line here. So I'm going to want to cut parallel to this line all the way out, so that then when the outer stem comes in here, it'll meet this center line. So we need to cut off here. So what I'm going to do that is my straight edge. I'm kind of just sighting so I can see that it's fitting the hole here a little bit. On there like that. So that's where I need to cut that. I've just clamped it down to my board here. Now I know that it's going to need a little bit of a compound angle, so instead of cutting straight like this, I'm going to cut just a little bit compound. And we'll see how that fits. Okay. Perfect. good.
Nice.
Yep. Better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Good.
good.
You got that closed up? Perfect. And we got that fixed. So Joe has been with me now for 5 days,
Yeah.
total of working,
Yeah.
and we have made tremendous progress. Unfortunately, Joe's going to go back to Hood River, Oregon, and resume his regular life, his regular boat building life, I should say. So, Joe, I really appreciate all the help you've been giving me.
More than welcome. More than welcome.
So, tell everybody how we met.
I was trying to decide what kind of sailboat to build, and I was searching around on YouTube, and I ran across Bob's episode, How to Choose Your Sailboat. And I was just thrilled that I said, well, those are the similar kinds of things I was thinking about. And so I started doing that and watching his videos, and then discovered at the end of one of your videos, shortly after that, you said, if you're interested in joining the Boat Building Academy, give me a call. And so I called you up, and the rest is history.
Here we are 4 years later.
Here we are 4 years later.
And Joe is almost finished, almost ready to launch your boat.
Yeah.
Just some
Yep.
details that
Yep.
are, what did you tell me? That you're slowing up on it so you can relish the experience.
The process of building is absolutely fabulous, and the camaraderie that we have with everyone, just extraordinary. Each week we get together and we get to help each other with our little issues, and encouragement is very good, especially at the end of a 4-year project, or if you've been building your project for 3 years and you're still barely into it, encouragement is really, really helpful. But yeah, I'm near the end of my boat. I'm building a 16-foot melon seed skiff. It's also known as a New Jersey gunning skiff. And let's see, what else did I want to say about it? Oh, I'm at the point right now where I'm just about finishing up the rigging. When I get back, I'm looking forward to several more coats of varnish on all my spars and attaching all my bronze.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate all the help you've been giving me, but it's still, we've got a couple more hours, so I think we're going to need to get a couple more strips on.
I agree.
Cool. So you can see I'm slowly closing up the gap here with each strip. I believe at this point we have maybe about 11 strips left. I wanted to show how another method of cutting this bevel. So what we do is we line our strip up here and make sure that this part is lined up, and just run the end a little past to where it's supposed to be. And then take our pencil and make a little, I'll run a little longer there, little tick mark where it should be there, and one back here. Now I want to connect those two marks, so you just use a little scrap here, any straight edge will do. Line that up, Well, then I take my knife and I carve it down close to the line. As we get close, take my block plane and finish it. Okay, now you can see it's a little bit farther away here on the heel and it's touching on the toe. So that distance I'm just kind of approximate here. I'll draw another line and plane it some more. That's a nice fit. Now, what I do is I make a little pencil mark here. That way when I glue it up, I know that it has to be pushed in at least that far. As I'm getting closer to the center, I temporarily hot glued some scrap to the hull to act as clamping points. So we've finally gotten to the point where we're ready to close up the hull on the bottom here. Now what I've done is these two strips here, I trimmed the cove off on a table saw so I have a nice squared edge on both of these pieces. I then took a couple of strips and glued them together. So I let these, after glued them, I let them sit overnight so that they're nice and cured. And what I've done then, before I glued them together, I squared up the edge on each side of these. So basically I removed the cove and the bead. And so now with this, I'm going to insert this into the hull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece right where it needs to go, like so. Put a couple of clamps on it so that it's secured there. So now what I'm going to do is to take my pencil, I'm going to go inside the hull and I'm going to mark out that curve onto the strip. Well, that completes the haul. We're all closed up now, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, the next episode, we're going to go back to the wood duck and start working on fitting the deck and the hull together on it. So we'll spend a couple of weeks on the wood duck, and then we'll be getting back to the Little Auk. I want to make a couple of announcements. The first announcement is that I will be teaching a class with Chesapeake Lightcraft on the wood duck this coming spring and summer. And those dates will probably be in the first part of June and one in August. Now, the exciting part is that I'm going to do it right here in my studio. So we can only take 3 people, but there'll be information on how to register for that coming up soon. The other announcement I want to make is that I'll be teaching out at the Wooden Boat School out in Brooklyn, Maine this summer. Now, the week of July 27th, so I'll be teaching a class on lettering and leafing. And in that class, we will learn how to hand letter the name on your boat and also do gold leafing on your boat. So I hope you can join me out at the Wooden Boat School for lettering and leafing in July 27th, the week of July 27th. And there's a link for that registration in the description. So as always, thanks for watching. And remember, if you're going to make it beautiful.